Hey, what's up, Nerd Squad? We're back with another NFL video. Before I get started, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, leave your predictions for the Chicago Bears 2020 record. Um, let's jump right into it. Week 1, we have the Bears playing in Detroit against the Lions. Now, uh, the Lions have a very underrated offense. I really like what they're doing on offense. I think Matt Stafford's still very underrated. Kenny Galladay's still underrated, but he's at least starting to get some of the recognition he deserves. Marvin Jones is very underrated. I think people are sleeping on on Johnson. I think he had a really good rookie year. And then with his injury in 2019, he kind of just disappeared and everybody forgot about him. I think if he can stay healthy, I think he can be a very solid running back for them. Plus, they have DeAndre Swift. I'm taking the Lions to win this one. I think it'll be close. I think the Bears defense will do pretty well handling them, but I think ultimately the Lions are going to take it. Week 2, we have the Giants at the Bears. This was kind of a hard one to predict. Predicted it in the Giants prediction video. Make sure to check that out, by the way. I see this because the Giants have done a lot to improve their offensive line. Saquon Barkley is expected to be, healthy this season. Darius Slayton showed out in his rookie year. They still have Evan Ingram. I like what they're doing on offense as well. They seem to have an improved defense as well. And really just the Bears, I'm just not sure about their offense. Mitch Trubisky, I genuinely think he's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Um, David Montgomery's an alright running back, but still haven't really seen a huge spark out of him yet. Allen Robinson's obviously good, but other than him, I don't really see many big playmakers for them. I know they got Ted Ginn. He can at least help stretch the field a little bit. But really, I'm not sure about this Bears offense. They seem to be crumbling apart. So I don't expect them to really do all that well in 2020. Week 3. Now, I know this is kind of a surprising one. I'm actually picking the Bears to beat the Falcons. Now, the reason for this is the Falcons seem to have a very struggling defense. They have a very good offense. But the Bears' defense is solid enough. I think they'll be able to contain them. I feel like this is gonna be one of those games where Mitch Trubisky's like, look, I've gotta win this, or else, I'm gonna lose the starting job to Nick Foles. I don't want to be replaced. I think he's gonna have a good game here. Falcons, they seem to be crumbling apart. Matt Ryan and Julio are both getting older. Now, don't get me wrong there. I'm not saying they're washed up by any means. They're still playing at a high level. But they're getting a little bit older, so we can't quite expect them to have the same burst they had the past few years. They also don't have Austin Hooper anymore. Todd Gurley was an improvement from Devontae Freeman, but can he stay healthy? There's a lot of things to address there, and I think the Bears will ultimately take this one in a close matchup. Week 4, I have the Colts at the Bears. I have the Colts taking this because of just how good the Colts' offensive line is. They don't allow many sacks. They're a good run blocking team. I despite his age, I think Phillip Rivers is still better than Jacoby Brissett. I like some of their additions. I think it'll be a close one. I really do. I could see it going either way. This is definitely a game that, I could see the Bears winning, but I think the Colts are going to take it in a close matchup. Week 5, I have the Bucks beating the Bears. The Bucks just have too much firepower on that offense. Tom Brady, despite his age, I think he'll still have a pretty dang good season with Bruce Arians. Um, and then with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Gronk. Um, Plus, I think Ronald Jones is kind of underrated. Um, they've got a very scary offense, and their defense is very slept on as well. I don't think the Bears are really going to be able to do much against them. Week 6, we have the Bears at the Panthers. Now, I know this one's going to get a lot of hate. I know Bears fans already hate me, so sorry. I think the Panthers take this one. Panthers, I feel like, have a very, very slept on offense. No, notice how I said offense there. Their defense seems to really still be struggling. But on offense, they have a much more solid quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. Christian McCaffrey's still probably the best running back in the league. DJ Moore, I feel like, is very slept on. Curtis Samuel should get, more of an opportunity this year. And they added Robbie Anderson. I feel like Ian Thomas has been hated maybe a little bit too much. I think he, will have a prove it year. Situation a little bit like the Bucks, maybe not as extreme as the Bucks, but I mean, with that offensive firepower, I don't think the Bears are gonna be able to quite stop it. Be a close matchup. I could actually see it be a pretty high scoring game because of how bad the Panthers defense is right now. But I do think the Panthers pull it off. Week 7 now. Man, I've been rough on the Rams. They've had a lot of big losses this offseason. They've lost a lot of key players. I think this is going to be a game where it really comes down to the coaching. I feel like the Rams still have a pretty explosive offense and a relatively struggling defense, while the Bears have an elite defense but kind of a struggling offense. So I think it's, a pretty fair matchup here. I think it'll really come down to coaching, and really I think Sean McVay is the better coach. So I think the Rams take it. I know I've been rough on them this offseason, but I think the Rams take this one. Week 8, you have the Saints at the Bears, and Bears fans, I'm so sorry. I know you probably hate me right now. I know you guys have a pretty rough schedule, but you're not beating the Saints. I'm sorry, but you're not. You're not beating the Saints. Now, week 9, I'm going to give this one to the Bears, okay? Derrick Henry is still very good. I have him and Christian McCaffrey as, the 1A and 1B, best running backs in the league. But, I mean, other than that, all they really have is A.J. Brown and, Ryan Tannehill's, pretty good, game manager. But I think the Bears can take this one. Again, I can see it go either way, but the Bears, I think, will take it. Week 10, I have the Bears beating the Vikings. Now, I think they'll go ahead and split with the Vikings. It seems like every year there's at least a couple games that Kirk Cousins just does not play well. I think this is going to be one of those games. The Bears defense, like I said, is elite. I think the Vikings are in kind of a, I don't want to say rough spot, but they're not in an ideal situation right now. Losing Stephon Diggs. Now, obviously, they got Justin Jefferson. He's a big pickup. But they lost Stephon Diggs. Their defense seems to, I don't want to say crumble apart, but it's not as good as it was a couple years ago. So I think the Bears take this one. However, week 15, I think the Vikings will get their revenge and they'll split. Week 12, I mean, really, the Packers beat them all the time, okay? It's kind of been a trend lately that the Packers just beat the Bears in close games. I don't think that changes this year. I do think at one point or another in the season, Nick Foles will step in. It won't be Mitch Trubisky anymore. But even with that, I don't think they're beating the Packers. Packers, I feel like, are a better coached team. Their offense is a lot more explosive, and their defense is honestly very solid as well. So I think the Packers take this one. Week 13, I have the Bears taking it. They're kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder now. They've got the Lions beat them week 1. They're not happy about that. The Lions aren't a great team. They're not happy about that. They're trying to play with a chip on their shoulder now, and I think they beat the Lions. Week 14, now I really like the Texans. I do, but they're also in a rough coaching situation. Bill O'Brien, not a good GM. Not a good GM. He's an all right coach, but that's really it. Deshaun Watson can, play well and all, but I mean, Bill O'Brien's he's tearing apart that team. Still don't have a good offensive line. Their defense is kind of iffy. When J.J. Watt's healthy, they're a really good defense, but I mean, when was the last time he's been healthy for an entire season? Was it 2015 or 2016? Something like that. You can't bank on him being healthy for an entire season. So I think the Bears take this one. They're still playing with that chip on their shoulder. They want it. Week 16, I also have the Bears taking that. Jags, in my opinion, are the worst team in the NFL right now. They're in a real rebuild. I don't think they have a good answer for coaching. Gardner Minshew's good to build on for the future. He is. I like DJ Chark, but they've already said they're not. Excuse me. They've already said they're not bringing back Leonard Fournette, and I think that's just stupid of them. They're in a rough spot going forward, and despite them being in a rebuild, I don't see them going in the right direction right now. So I have the Bears going 6-10. Bears fans, I know you're gonna be mad at me. I'm sorry, but it's that offense. If you can make big changes to that offense, there's a few games I could see being flipped. I could see him possibly sweeping the Lions. I could see him getting a win over the Giants. Even Colts. Panthers and Rams are a possibility. But I'm sorry, this just isn't the year for you guys. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm too harsh on the Bears or if you think they will surprise everyone and do much better than this. Again, let me know your thoughts. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, and I will see you next time. Later.